pedal in the lane, moving fast, ayy. Let them all cross. If they hate, then let them hate and make a bigger boss, ayy.
Hey guys, before we jump into the episode, I want to let you know this brought to you by the National Motor Freight Traffic Association. Do you ship LTL freight? Then you need to be ready for July 19th. Major changes are coming to the NMFC, classification shifts, density-based reclassifications, and more. Don't get blindsided. Visit nmfcchanges.com to get prepared with official resources from the NMFTA. Not sure if your NMFC numbers are affected? Use the NMFC item lookup tool at getclassification.com. Just enter a single item or upload hundreds and instantly see if your items are being reclassified or renumbered. It's time to get it together. These NMFC changes will impact how you quote, route, and bill your LTL freight. Visit nmfcchanges.com now for tools built specifically for 3PLs and shippers just like you. Stay ahead. Don't let July 19th catch you off guard. This episode is brought to you by SPI Logistics, the premier freight agent logistics firm in North America. For over 40 years, SPI has been diligently building the most successful freight agent network to provide first-class relationships for our shippers, receivers, and carrier partners. We are more than another transportation network. We are a dedicated team of professionals united by one singular purpose, and that is to expedite our agents' success. All of our agents are set up for success on day one, as they are provided with a full suite of support staff that is ready to assist them with everything from after-hours emergencies to financial and administrative needs on a no-fee basis. This way, you can focus on continuing to grow your business. There is no financial risk to start, and you have the ability to earn up to 75% in commissions. If you are looking to take control of your financial future and build your business with the backing of one of the most successful logistics firms in North America, visit www.spi3pl.com to learn more. Do me a favor and let them know that the Freight Coach sent you. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Podcast, the top podcast in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines. But most importantly, you guys provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight, ladies and gentlemen. And I do say that before every single show. And what I mean by that is I only speak with transportation professionals, because at the end of the day, you guys, I want to talk to the right individuals who have done what you're looking to do or who are currently doing what you're trying to achieve. So you can take that information, apply it, utilize it, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. Happy Monday, everybody. Sorry for the slight delay. We were having some technical difficulties. And again, you guys, I'm not an IT department. Like my IT capabilities are literally restart computer and see if it works. And so here we are, you guys. But, you know, it's as the thing says, we're at the final countdown right now, you guys. But if you guys are older, you understand the band Europe and the final countdown, and that's where we are for the NMFC code changes, you guys. My friends over at the NMFTA have been screaming this from the mountaintops for about a year now. And we're here. We're at the last week. We're at the final push for it all. So with that being said, I got Mr. Joe Ohr back on the show to really kind of tie everything together here and put a bow on it, man. So Joe, thank you so much for joining me.
No, thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. And yeah, it is. We're really, really excited to get ready to launch this.
And I mean, kind of like what we were talking about, but backstage, I mean, you guys got to be like two-part excited / nervous, because like we're here, man. Like tomorrow it starts. ClassIT Plus is going live to really give people a couple of days ahead of time to jump in, because Saturday the 19th, that's go live on the code changes being fully rolled out. So how are you from like a leadership perspective and like being so ingrained in the development of this, Joe? How are you feeling right now? Like, I just want to know emotionally, like, where are you at?
Well, I think it was a lot of nervousness leading up to probably the weekend, a lot of craziness. We had the holidays, and I did some craziness over the holidays. So it was like trying to keep focused on it. And then, over the weekend, you saw everything come together. Whether it was from the development side, the marketing side, the QA side, client services side, just everything started to come together. And you get in the meetings, and it would almost be, you know, surreal. Like, okay, we're really this close to it. And so we've got an all hands meeting today when we're going to talk about it. I was just, you know, kind of coming up with some talking points, and somebody compared it to, you know, being on a treadmill and then the treadmill stopping. I compare it. I scuba dive, but I compare it to being on a boat for a week, and then get off the boat, you feel like you're still on the boat. So that's kind of the way we feel. And now it's just it's pure excitement. We feel really confident that we're ready, and we're really excited for the industry change. It's really needed, and we're ready to show this thing off and get people to see it, and it's a big change.
No, absolutely. And as somebody who's a broker, I'm on the service provider side of things here. And, we only really do full truckload at the end of the day, Joe.
Mhm.
And I think like with a lot of these changes and where the market is kind of overall right now, I feel like this might open up doors here for brokers in the event that, like, hey, if this was moved LTL, depending on how the cookie crumbles here on like the change with the pricing and the classification, I think this might open up the door where a lot of shippers might look and see like, hey, should we just ship this dedicated, or is there a one pick, two drop scenario now that we can come in? I just feel like if there's anything that I've seen kind of pop up so far of like, hey, what is a shift that could possibly happen to breathe some life back into the freight market? Because I mean, all of the providers that I know out there, they're all looking like, hey, is there going to be anything? I truly feel in my heart of hearts, this could be that catalyst that will open up the door that customers might start looking like, hey, what are some other modes? What are some other options here? Because I think everybody would be naive to think like everyone's just going to be fully prepared. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's just going to, on the shipper side, like inevitably there are going to be people who are going to be now looking at their P&L and their transportation spend, and they're going to sit here and be like, all right, what should we do differently now? Is there another way we should be attacking this? And I truly feel like in my heart of hearts, this could possibly be that thing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this has been an opportunity to really look at how you're packaging, how you're shipping your goods, how you're gaining your efficiencies. It's also been an opportunity to reestablish some communication that maybe you hadn't had, to update things. But it's also an opportunity to get some things that maybe were outdated, and to update it and improve your process. But it's just gonna improve your efficiencies.
Yeah.
And so, a lot of people, we go out and we look at LinkedIn, and we hear what some people are saying. Oh, you should have gone all the way to in one direction, or you're going too far. But most people agree, hey, this is a good in between. And it's really meant to improve the efficiencies and improve the communication between all the parties involved: the 3PLs, the 4PLs, the shippers, the brokers, the carriers. And what that really does is help get efficiencies. And so, with that, it really can be a kickstart. And it can help you in a lot of cases gain some advantages.
Mm-hmm.
We do hear, and it was on your show that Averitt mentioned, hey, there may be some shippers that they've tried and they're not as ready as what they think, but we'll work with them. Mm-hmm. And that's really the message that we hear. And I know on our side, we're definitely prepared for that. Whether it's on the classification side or the technical side, we're definitely going to be prepared to help. But really what we want to do is simplify. And this is all about simplicity. And that's kind of the world we live in. We want to make things as simple as possible. And so that's what we did with classification, but that's also what we did with ClassIT Plus. People want to be able to sit down, get an answer, and make it quick. And if you looked at classification or you looked at the solution, it was complicated. And so we really wanted to simplify it. And when it's simple and it's easy to understand, the adoption rate's going to be higher. And with that higher adoption rate, more people will use it. And when more people use it, it's going to be more successful.
No, I couldn't agree more, right? And I also look at it as yes, it might seem chaotic to some in the moment, but what I feel like a lot of people are going to respect after the fact, Joe, is how much easier it is to make changes when it all changes at once, as opposed to like, oh, hey, let's just change these classifications today. And then, oh, in 3 months, we'll change this next, and so on and so forth. And to really go about it to simplify, because you're right. I mean, if there's anything out there that I personally, and again, I use Chris Jolly as an example because I actually work in the industry on this side of things, that had issues with like LTL in the past and being able to provide like solid services, is when things would change after the fact, right? And then now seemingly removing that from happening, right? And I feel like anybody out there who has had those experiences that I had in trying to offer LTL to my prospects and my customers is, hey, now after the fact, like things aren't going to change, or theoretic, I can't say aren't. It should minimize the changes that will happen when you are out there and you're sourcing capacity and quotes and pricing and everything to provide to your customers, that the rate that is now provided is the rate that it should be, unless the entire shipment's completely different from what your customer said at the beginning of the fact, right? But I look at it is this is one of those things that, as a partner, and if you're truly out there looking to add value to your customers, this is going to be the opportunity that you've been looking for, or this was the opportunity to solidify to your customers why you are worth your weight in gold to their operations, because you're going to have them fully prepared for an event like this, because events like this probably aren't going to come around very often, you guys.
No, I absolutely agree. And the more prepared you are, the better off you're going to be. And that's one of the things we've really focused on, that is educating the carrier, and then making sure the carrier is educating the shipper, and the brokers are educating the shipper. And so that's one of the things we've really started to see over the last couple of months. We started, and it almost started as a joke, a webinar called Ask Us Anything. And we did it once, and we had 500 people join. And it's like, well, let's do it again. And then we started doing it every 2 weeks. And I think total we had over probably 4,000 people join. And it was just ask us anything about ClassIT Plus, ask us anything about classification changes. And the questions just kept on coming in. And then the last one we did last week, we did for an hour and a half. And we'd have product on there. We'd have classification leadership on there. And it just shows that people are listening. People are embracing these changes, and they're as excited as we are about the changes. We really didn't get negative comments. And there are more changes coming, but this is a bulk of the changes, and we're not going to do changes all the time. We will do some changes about twice a year, but again, nothing will be as big as this change.
Yeah. Now, I mean, with that being said, one of those ask you guys anything style shows, was there any like repeat question that was there any like themes that you guys saw kind of coming up? Was it a high volume commodities that are being like, were people coming to you guys like, hey, we move a lot of this commodity, is this being reclassed? Should we renegotiate with our customers or stuff like that?
Yeah, we got a lot of questions about, hey, what about FAKs? We always got questions on mixed commodities. And so we talk about, hey, those aren't changing. That's something we're addressing in the future. We always got questions on how we're on the density calculator. So that's something that's in the product. We got a lot of questions typically on integration, and that's something we're really excited about because ClassIT Plus is going to have very robust integration and APIs. And so, whether you're developing your own system or you want to integrate it with a TMS or a billing system or what have you, it'll be there. So it's funny, there's always like 10 questions every time we get asked. And then there'd be new questions that we would never get, that we get asked that were different. And so every time it's like, okay, we think we've been asked everything, then there'd be a new question. But there'd always be probably 10 or 11 that every time we would get asked. And that was the tool of the lookup tool, where you'd look up, okay, what are the changes in 2025-1? That was really based on like ask me anything type question is, hey, I'm a shipper, I've got to prepare better, or I'm a broker, I got to get my shipper better prepared. How do I do that? And that really was, we got that question so many times and we kept saying, well, it's easy, just go use a spreadsheet. And we realized, well, it's too complicated. And we could really develop something over the weekend to solve this problem. And you and I have talked, we did that. And I think when we talked, we had 2,000 or 3,000 registered users, and that was our goal. And I think by the time we shut this off, it'll be about 20,000 registered users.
Nice.
And so that just shows, and I mean, that's one of those things that I still sit back and think 20,000 registered users, that just amazes me. How many people utilize that, classification lookup tool?
No, absolutely. And that's the thing is I feel like to have something, even from a like a tech perspective, Joe, where it's like, hey, we can have integration inside of our TMS and we have this lookup tool. Because I mean, you guys have a fully functional API for this, right? Where like people can go in and this is going to be integrated into their TMS. And is there going to be a way for, like, if I'm out here and I move the exact same commodity, is there going to be a way, and this might be, something where like a TMS could develop this, but this might also be an option where, hey, this has the same class every single time, like it's the exact same commodity, they don't change anything from this shipper. Is there going to be a way to go in there and save it to where when I'm going in there and looking for a quote, that's just going to be the same? Or do you guys want the users to manually verify that it's class 100 every single time?
No, you can bookmark it. It'll also know that, hey, you search for this a lot, so it'll save it in your search history. But you can bookmark it. You can bookmark it as an individual. You can bookmark it on behalf of the company. And that was one of the things that, we did doc visits. And before I started, I remember saying, hey, one of the first few weeks, I want to go visit some docs. And what I heard over and over is we utilize about, a customer said, hey, we utilize about 20% of the book. And so one of the goals was, all right, for the people that utilize, whether it's 10% of the book or 20% of the book, how can they create favorites? How can they do bookmarks? If you look at, my browser, for example, there's bookmarks for the things I use a lot. Marriott, whatever, the airline Southwest, and I just go to those, right? I don't have to remember them. And so that same concept is in ClassIT Plus. It's that company common, but it's also from a user perspective. So I can bookmark things on behalf of myself. I can bookmark things on behalf of the company. But then, what's exciting is then as you're presenting this, people start to realize and come up with good ideas. They're like, oh, for my sales team, I want to create, a list of things that they can use and their company common. And so they'll be able to do that. And then the search will also remember, oh, these are the things that you search for. So it'll have a search history also. So if you just, let's say you search on the same 5 things, it'll remember that. Then as far as the API, we are allowing local caching. So if you search for the same API, it doesn't even have to go back and hit our server. It'll immediately return that result. So if you're looking for that same commodity over and over, it'll instantly provide that result.
Oh, I love it. I got a question here that came through for you guys. Robert Cowton, he's a broker, and he says, in 16 years of moving LTL, I have yet to find a shipper who knew what their NMFC code was. They knew FAK class, but none have access to the NMFTA. How can this gap be closed in the future out there?
So yeah, and that's a great question, and that's what we realized. So we made the ClassIT Plus very affordable, where they can go get a single license, and we priced it for shippers, and they can actually buy ClassIT Plus, a single license, to be able to look it up. There are also going to be folks that are selling ClassIT Plus that we have relationships with, that they'll be able to utilize and get classification data from, but they can buy a license from us to be able to do that. And then if they bookmark it and it changes, it'll actually say, hey, this is changing in the next docket, and it'll tell you what the change is. But the reason we believe that shippers didn't know is because it was too complicated, and they would just take what the carrier told them. But because we've made it simple, we've made the tool simple, and we've made it very affordable, as a result, it's something that the shipper can do. So yeah, reach out to us, and definitely we'll get them hooked up with ClassIT Plus. That way they've got all the same information, and they can properly classify that freight.
Yeah. And then he also had another question about, like, with a lot of the changes, will be at the carrier's discretion. Will it be at the carrier's discretion what changes affect the customer prices that comes along with these changes? So will it be the LTL carriers, the trucking companies themselves, that will be changing the pricing? Will that have the biggest effect on it with these changes, do you think?
So yeah, we really don't get into pricing. We just do the classification, but based on the classification, it should open up the discussion. In some cases, the price may increase, decrease, but what it does is, if the shipper and the carrier are both classifying the freight accurately, it triggers a better discussion, because you're basing it on the same information and accurate information. So it makes for a better discussion, a more accurate discussion.
Yeah, and I also look at it too is outside with it being the way that it's changing to, it should bring more consistency into the rates, right? Like I'm just trying, like, everything that I've known and heard about this and through all of our conversations, that kind of leads me to assume, and again, because this is all an assumption, because I'm not an LTL carrier, I'm not out here, I don't even move LTL as a broker, to be completely transparent. But where I see a lot of this moving towards, Joe, is a lot more consistency across the board, where, like, I see rebills as something that I don't ever want to say goes away, but I feel like is going to be severely reduced in a good way, because I truly feel like the way that this is going to be streamlined, it's going to clean up a lot of that stuff. And I feel like this is going to save a lot of time for a lot of the billing departments that are out there who process LTL invoices.
Oh, absolutely. And that is one of the goals, is to dramatically reduce the rebills, and get it right the first time. At one point, that was a logo, get it right the first time for us, is because, when we were starting these discussions early on, the percent of rebills was so high. And again, it was due to inaccuracies, lack of education, sticky notes on monitors that were 8 years old, bill of ladings that had printouts of classifications that were 10 years old, and just confusion. So if you eliminate that confusion, then you don't have the rebills. And so, and again, it's we embrace the dimensions in a lot of cases. And so if you have those, you're really going to reduce those rebills, because everybody's looking at that freight the same way, and the mystery's gone. And so we're trying to really be as transparent as possible so that everybody understands it. And so there's always going to be a little bit of, a possibility of a rebill, but it dramatically should decrease, because and then that, of course, without the rebill, you eliminate a lot of that friction.
Yeah. And, and that's the thing, right? Like, I feel like at the end of the day, just the ability to point your customers, to kind of touch on what Robert was saying earlier about the new FAK, being able to push them in the right direction about ClassIT Plus, getting all of that done. And then even as a broker, to have that inside of your TMS, to have that integration done and fully functional, I feel like that's where like a real competitive advantage is going to lie here after this rollout is complete. Because again, like we're talking 5 days. The 19th is when this stuff all goes live. Mm-hmm. And the ClassIT Plus goes live tomorrow, you guys, the 15th. So it's like, to kind of get ahead, sign up for that, get in there. You got 4 days to play around before the rollout goes. And I feel like from a competitive standpoint, this is a major opportunity for you to go out there and really start prospecting at a higher level, right? And like I also look at it as a broker, like I would want access to ClassIT Plus. If I was moving LTL at a high volume, I would definitely be signed up for this stuff to go in there to any competitive advantage, because from a business development standpoint, post 719, that would be my main leading question. Did your current providers have you fully prepared for the NMFC code changes? Oh, they didn't? Perfect. Well, I have this system that we offer complimentary to all of our customers, where we can go in, I can send you whatever you need. So then, you send me your commodities list or your shipments list, and you do a case analysis for them. I truly think like this is going to be a major opportunity for people, like, especially if you're moving LTL right now. This is going to be a massive business development opportunity. And if you're not moving LTL, if you're like me and you do a lot of full truckload, this is also going to be another business development opportunity of, hey, have you looked at, possibly seeing, are any of your high volume LTL shipments, is it cheaper to move it full truckload? Is it cheaper to combine it and do a 1-pick, 2-drop shipment out there now? And is that a more competitive price standpoint? Because we're in a very competitive freight market right now. And I feel like anything out there is that to kind of open the door to make your prospects actually want to talk to you. Because if you're like me and you're cold calling every single day, the rejection that's out there, the amount of times that you're being told, hey, we're good right now. This could possibly be that thing that opens up the door and opens up that avenue for service providers to go out there. And I could only imagine what the LTL carriers themselves are going to be doing at this time to go out there and try and capture more business. So I truly think like this is one of those things that you guys have done an absolutely phenomenal job of getting everybody ready. The industry is ready. Like you said, there's 20,000 people signed up for ClassIT Plus. So if you don't know about ClassIT Plus, this is your like literal last 24 hours, you guys, to get in there before it goes live. And obviously it's going to be open after it goes live for you guys to get in there and sign up for all of that.
Appreciate it. And yeah, it's exciting. It definitely will be a competitive advantage to have the knowledge.
And that's what we need. And that's all. In the open market, in a capitalistic society, you guys, you need that competitive advantage in any way, shape, or form that you can get. But Joe, how does anybody reach out to find out more about ClassIT Plus? And obviously, you guys, will put all the links out there in the show notes for you.
Yeah, the best way is to go to NMFTA.org. And if you go to our main website, you'll see contact us. You'll also see banners and a lot of links to a lot of the things that we talked about. You can also go to www.nmfcchanges.com, or you can email us at classification@nmfta.org, and we'll be happy to help you out.
Perfect. Joe, thank you so much for this. And as always, you guys, if you guys can't find anything that Joe had just mentioned out there, hit me up. I will gladly put you guys in contact. But that is going to be it for today, ladies and gentlemen. As always, if you got value in what you heard, subscribe to the show, you guys. And if you're feeling really ambitious after this one, rank the show on iTunes and Spotify, because if you see value, your network's going to see it as well. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. And we'll be talking to you soon.
Came back with a bang, window down, yelling out money, anything. Ayy, ooh, got the foot on the gas, pedal to the metal when I'm getting to the back. Ayy, got the foot on the gas, pedal to the metal when the lane